Let's go to the scanned document, page 1. Amar, are you able to get no, not this one, the other document, the scanned document that has modern communication technology, then the very first page, which has our learning outcomes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask any volunteer to read for us the learning outcomes. Let us know why we are studying this topic. What do we intend to achieve by the end of this topic? What should we have in mind that we are going to learn? And it will be just that. Any volunteer? Any person who has not said a thing and wants to read for us? I have very many people in this lesson. Francis, Julius, I have Chirabo, Lydia, Natalie, Praise. There are very many people. So if you are willing to read for us, to take us through the learning outcomes, please raise we see you. Nina, are you there? Nina? Isaac, can you see what is shared on the screen?
Yes.
So you're going to read for us the learning outcomes.
After studying this topic, you'll be able to describe the modern methods of communication and their uses, compare communication methods, use adjectives and modifiers to describe the different types and uses of telephones, tablets, and computers for communication purposes. Describe experiences of using various forms of communication. Use WH questions to conduct a survey of learners' experiences with communication devices. Use auxiliary or helping verbs to explain orally how to perform activities such as sending email messages and downloading ringtones or music, and apply the etiquette of using this technology. Discuss the pros and cons of modern communication and articulate opinions. Acquire the registers used in different telephone communications. Use interrogative clauses in dialogue and interpret instructions in manuals and brochures.
Okay, thank you very much, dear Isaac. Now, those are our learning outcomes. Even when you go to school and you start on this topic, these are the things your English language teacher would be intending to have you achieve by the time you're through. By the time you do your activity of integration, your teacher will be expecting you to know all these things put in the learning outcomes. You should be able to describe the modern communication methods and what they are used for, I know some things are more familiar to you than the others, but then you should be able to at least describe them and what they are used for. We should be able to compare, and that we're even going to do in today's lesson, to compare communication methods. Which one is better? Which one is more convenient? Which one is more expensive than the other? We should be able to use the adjectives to compare methods. Now, back in the day before the new curriculum came, all students had to do was just go in class, draw a table and write big, bigger, biggest, expensive, more expensive, most expensive. But these days, we want children to learn something as they're also learning the aspects of grammar. So we shall learn how to compare, but not compare nothing, compare communication methods for you to know them, but also learn a bit more English to learn how to compare the communication methods provided. Yes, so these are the learning outcomes that are expected of all of us by the end of the entire topic. Now, let us look at the learning outcomes of today's lesson. What do we intend to achieve today in this meeting? When you log in, by the time you log out, what should you be knowing? So, Amara, now you're going to take us back to our PowerPoint. On that very slide, have the objective, the learning outcome of this very lesson. So let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation. Slide number 3. Okay, thank you very much. So we have lesson objectives. By the end of this lesson, each learner that has logged in should be able to mention at least 4 communication devices and their use. We should be able to define an adjective and know what it is and what it does in the English language. Then we should be able to use that adjective to describe devices. We should be able to use devices. To use adjectives to describe communication devices. And finally, we should be able to use comparatives to compare at least 3 pairs of devices. We are going to see how it turns out as we progress in the lesson. Okay. We have key terms. We will not go through them today. We are going to find maybe another lesson, or take time when we share the document. Make sure you surf on the internet. Since this is modern communication technology, you should be able to use your gadgets to acquire information. Yes, that is what it does. We should be able to find out what those words in the key terms mean. I'm sure we are going to find a way of sharing this document, and we make sure that everyone has a copy. So when you get the copy, look at the key terms. For now, let us continue with the lesson to save time. Next slide. Amara, let's go to slide number 4. Okay, so this takes us to our objective. We said that by the end of this lesson, we should be able to identify modern methods of communication and their use. So we have an image. We have figure 1.1 on page 3. I'm going to ask Amara to quickly take us there on page 3, and we look at those devices. I see if people can identify any. Some of them are modern, others are a bit ancient. So I want to see if people can identify them. Amara, take us to our other document on page 3. We'll start with the document. Page 3. Scroll down to page 3. that image, figure 1.1. That is activity 1.2.
Teacher, you meaning this or
No.
it's a bit down?
No, it's up.
Sorry?
You bypassed it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
this image?
Below the table.
Yes, this one. Kindly enlarge it. Hmm.
Right. That's it.
Okay.
Something like
Yes.
this.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes, and
Okay,
wait.
come down.
So I want us to look keenly at the image displayed on our screens and see if there is any communication device that you can identify and what it does. You just raise your hand and tell us that, teacher, me, I have seen this and I think it does this and it's used to do this. Because it's one of our lesson objectives, we must be able to identify at least four. At least four. Ha. Someone has a name, Samsung SM. I don't know your name. Kindly unmute and tell me your name, then tell me the device you have identified.
My name is Josiah, and the device is telephone. A telephone can be used in communication.
Which kind of communication?
If you want to communicate with someone, you can just call and then you tell him what you want to tell him.
Thank you very much. A telephone is indeed used to send messages. If you want to send a message to someone, if you want to give them any message verbally, sometimes it can even be by through writing. You use that mobile phone to do that. Any other? Yes, Faith?
Well, I can see a camera.
Tell us, what can it do? How can we use it in modern day technology?
Well, it is used to capture photographs and videos.
Okay, so sometimes people would use it to save their memories, to capture something they wouldn't want to forget, and that is modern communication technology. Thank you so much, Faith. Any other person that has identified any other thing? You raise your hand and share with us. So far, we have talked about the phone. We've also talked about the camera. So if there is anything else you can identify, kindly let us know. Yes, Isaac. Thank you.
I see a television. It's used
What does this do?
for watching news and you
Hmm.
get visual information from it.
Okay, thank you very much. That's correct. Any other thing identified? Is there any other person that can identify any other device from the things we're seeing on our screen? You just raise your hand and tell us. So far, we've identified the television, telephone, and then camera. If you can identify any communication device and its use, you raise your hand and share with us. We have a postal system, we have a typewriter, we have the internet, we have a gramophone, telegraph, we have a computer. So whichever one you can identify and especially its use, you let us know. Yes, Chirabo?
A computer can be used for searching information, sending messages, and also for communication.
Yes. Thank you very much, Chirabo. That's correct. You can use your computer to talk to people. You can connect to the computer, connect to WhatsApp, you can connect to a Zoom meeting, you can connect to Facebook through this computer, and yes, you still send messages or even receive them from your people or even from your friends, or you can even make new friends using that very device. Okay, thank you very much. Um, is there any person who knows the use of a gramophone? I'll be impressed if there is anyone on this call that knows that the use of a gramophone. Me? Amara. Oh, yes, we have Katengo. What a name. Kindly unmute and tell us what the gramophone does. What is it used for? What was it used for back in the day? Yes. Huh. We can't hear what you're saying. Katengo. Oh, sorry. Katengo, are you there? I think there is a bad connection. So, Amara, do you know what a gramophone is used for?
So,
Any
teacher,
answers?
I think a gramophone,
Really?
I think was used maybe to was used to manipulate or produce sound from, like, take for instance, there used to be these CD players, which we have now, but the gramophone, it was used now to produce the sound or the message that would be on the what? Disc.
On the disc, yes, and most times it would be used for music. Thank you very much. Yes, that was the modern day YouTube that you have, where you go to enjoy music, televisions. Back in the day, as you can see from this image on 2400 BC, that is way back in the day. It's what was used for entertainment. Yes, Frank, your hand is up. Frank, it's your time. Frank, are you there? Can you identify any communication method? Oh, sorry, Frank is not talking. Okay, thank you very much. Amara, can we now go back to our PowerPoint presentation to slide 5? Thank you very much. Now we have more modern means of communication here. Yes, still the same assignment. We want to identify those that we think we know and what they do. There are many. You can enlarge a bit. Frank, can you share with us by enlarging a little bit more? Maybe do slideshow. Okay, well done, well done. Thank you. So we have modern means of communication, and we need to know them, people. If we are going to go through this chapter of modern communication technology, we must show understanding. We must show that we can identify these devices. That is why we're having it as our first activity. There is no way you can discuss modern communication technology when you don't know the communication devices. There is no way you're going to hold a meaningful debate about communication when you don't know the communication devices. There is no way you're going to write an essay, no dialogue. There is nothing we're going to do when we don't know these communication devices. So we have another picture here in the PowerPoint presentation. Can we do more identification of this? Are you seeing anything that you know? Just raise your hand and share with us. People, if you can identify any of these devices, raise your hand. Tell us what it is and what it does. Yes, Faith?
Well, I can see a mobile phone.
Uh-huh. Faith has identified the mobile phone. Thank you. That's correct. Josiah has identified a computer system. Josiah, will you be so kind to unmute and tell us what you think about a computer system?
What I think about a computer system, it can be used in terms of communication.
Which kind of communication? We have even already talked about it, but you can say it again.
Like, like sending messages.
Sending and receiving messages from our friends,
Yes,
family, workmates, and all
yes,
the people around us. Thank you very much. Francis has
yes.
identified the email system. Francis, will you be so kind to unmute and share with us what email is and what it does? Do you know how to send an email, Francis?
An email is used to send messages to people, phone numbers. How do you send email? By using an email account, using your email account.
Hmm. Okay, thank you, Francis. Indeed, emails are used to send um more official documents. If you want to send your official work, if you've done your work at school and you want to send it to your teacher, you can use the email. You can communicate to your teacher that you have understood your work by sending it on email, and your teacher will also communicate back to you, give you feedback that they have received that work by maybe acknowledging receipt of your email or giving you the marks that you've got. So email can also be a communication method. It's a means of sending and receiving information. Let me see. I have Charles. Charles has seen a TV and he says it's used for getting current news. That's correct. Josiah has also seen a tablet. Josiah, what is a tablet?
A
Josiah?
tablet, a tablet is like a mobile phone but different in size, and it can also be if like you want to communicate to someone, like sending messages and then receiving them.
Okay. So do you want
Yes,
to show us which thing is the tablet?
yes.
Friends, have we all seen the tablet? Responding concerning the tablet, yes, it can be used to send communication. In the modern era, many children have tablets to be used for entertainment. They can use YouTube, they can keep their videos on this tablet, and then they can also use it for communication if some of those apps are installed. They can use these apps to call their parents and let them know if there is something wrong at home. Even some parents can call using these tablets to inquire and get information. So it is a modern communication tool and it is very common. Let me see if there is any other thing identified. Yes, Elaine, kindly unmute and tell us about a Bluetooth device. Elaine, are you there? Sure. Elaine, are you there? Ah, Elaine is not. Asha, I can see that you're also talking about Bluetooth. Asha, will you be kind to... Oh, sorry, Elaine's microphone has a challenge. Sorry about that, dear. Asha, will you be kind to unmute and tell us about the Bluetooth device? What does it do? How does it operate even?
Okay, like a Bluetooth is like a device. Let me say a link which someone can use to connect to another device to either play music from that device, or you can send, let's say, files or music or other stuff to that device.
Okay, very good, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Nina is talking about a satellite. I am very interested. I want to know what it does. Nina? Nina, is your microphone okay? Can you share with us about a satellite? Yes, Nina, are you there? So Nina has sent us a message in the chat that the satellite is placed into the orbit. It can be used for weather forecasting, for navigation, broadcasting, Earth observation, etc. Oh, thank you very much, Nina, for this detailed information. And I think we've identified most of the things here and what they do. Let me see if there is something I am interested in. I wanted to hear about the satellite and the tablet. Yes. Thank you very much. I hope we will continue to remember these, especially when we are making our communication, especially when we are getting to our outputs. When in our different schools, we are discussing modern communication technology, always remember some of these things to put up a very intelligent talk or maybe to write a very good essay. You can always incorporate in some of these things. Talk about a satellite, how it is used to observe the weather and do weather forecasts. You know, Nina has given us good information. Can you talk about the Bluetooth device and how some people can send and share messages without actually getting in contact? The two devices just need to be paired and the information will be shared. Lydia is talking about the 3D TV, and we can read about it there in the chat. It is used. Some of you like going to the cinemas. Those are the things that we use to watch our movies and enjoy them more because they are in 3D, three dimensions. You can see everything in different corners. So when we know these things, it makes us better people, especially when we are discussing modern communication technology. In your debate, at school, if somebody is saying modern communication maybe should be stopped, it is a disaster, yes, we can put up a very wonderful debate using the information we have acquired so far in this lesson. Okay, well done to everyone that has identified and given us information concerning what we use. Who knows what DHL does? I've always seen cars moving around in that yellow color with DHL. What does it do? Is anyone aware? Mm-hmm. Do we have any person who is aware of what DHL does as a company in this world? Yes, the person using Samsung, kindly remind me of your name.
My name is Sengendo Josiah.
Hey, okay. Josiah, tell us, what is
What I think
DHL?
is what I think is like they deal in network connections, like those things of connecting network. There's like a problem they can connect. Yeah.
Okay, that is what Josiah thinks. How about Resty? I see Resty has given us an answer in the chat. Resty, is your microphone okay? Can you unmute and you tell us what DHL does? Yes, Resty. Okay, I think Resty has a challenge with the microphone. So, like Resty and Elaine have said in the chat, DHL does deliveries worldwide. You can send DHL to take something to Germany and they will deliver it. For people that are in international schools, when children do exams, yes, when children do exams, let's say children of Cambodia, children of Taiba, if they do exams in Cambridge, they will pack their exams, their scripts properly and give them to DHL, and DHL will take them to the headquarters of Cambridge. They deliver parcels, they deliver physical things. If you want to send someone a token of appreciation, maybe a necklace, maybe something beautiful, you just need to put it in a parcel, pack it properly, give it to DHL, and they will deliver your information. So that's why we have it here in our modern means of communication, and it is good for us to know what some of these companies do. Like I said, it makes us better people when we know these things and we can use them as we write our essays. We can use them to answer exams. If there is an interview and you're called upon, you will talk with much intelligence when you know what some of these companies do. So that's DHL for us. Thank you. Amara, let's go to the next slide. Okay, thank you very much. This brings us to adjectives and modifiers, which we use to describe modern communication device. Well, for starters, what is an adjective? We put that in our learning outcomes. By the end of this lesson, all of us should be able to identify and describe and define an adjective. So what is an adjective? Is there any person who is aware? What is an adjective? What is an adjective? Yes, Isaac. Isaac, what is an adjective?
An adjective is a word used to describe a noun.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's correct. Please write it for us in the chat. I know some people are taking notes in their books, maybe. They will need to write that down. Please write for us that definition because it is correct. An adjective is a word that describes a noun. And an adjective modifies a noun. That's why sometimes we call them modifiers. By modify, we mean it gives more detail about a thing. You can mention anything. And then if you use any word to describe it, then it becomes an adjective. If they take you to a shop and they want you to buy a laptop, maybe your parents want to buy you a laptop. When you get to that shop, they may ask you, which kind of laptop do you want? So you would use adjectives and modifiers to add information onto the word laptop to identify exactly which one you want. So, someone has already given us some words like short, big, tall, white, black. Thank you very much. Indeed, it is a word that describes a noun that gives more information. Red. If the laptop is in red, then we can talk. Okay, so our first assignment on this slide was to describe an adjective, and someone has already done that good job. Secondly, we are going to describe any communication device that we are familiar with. Yes, I see people are putting very many adjectives in the chat, and that's a good thing. Silver, fat, red, black, small. Very good. Keep the adjectives coming, but for now, let's have people raise their hands and they describe any communication device they know. As you're giving your answers, you can base on its physical nature, if it is slim, if it is heavy, if it's bulky, if it is black. Then you can talk about its purpose. Yes, you can also use that. Someone has already given us an answer, which I'm going to read soon. You can talk about advantages and disadvantages. Yes, for example, if you say a laptop is fast, then you have described for us how it is. Yes, even advantages can pass for this activity. So can we have, yes, what is the name? Sengendo.
So, a laptop, it can be like in a small size.
Uh-huh.
It can be red or black, any color.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Sengendo. That's a good description. Let me go through the answers we have in the chat before I get people who will speak up. A mobile phone is the commonest. Charles, you didn't complete that, but I think it's the commonest communication device, and that's correct. A laptop is used for work. I want someone to maybe say a laptop is convenient because it doesn't need a lot of wiring, it doesn't need the monitor, so it makes it convenient. And when we get to the last session of this lesson where we are comparing them, we shall be seeing which device is commonest and why. We shall see which one is more portable than the other. Like Barbara has put in the group, a laptop is used for, sorry, a mobile phone that is resting. A mobile phone is portable. Yes, I agree with you. It is. You can describe it using that word. Smartphones are expensive compared to letters. Yes, if you want to pass communication and use a letter, it will be cheap. But here we have smartphones being expensive. Thank you very much. Do we have someone that would like to talk to us? If you have any device you want to describe using an adjective, the goal of this activity is for you to show that you can modify or describe or add more information to a communication device. So let's keep talking, and it's very important for you to speak in an English language lesson, by the way. Speaking is an important skill. It doesn't help for us to log in and just keep quiet. We need to learn how to speak. Maybe next time it won't be a lesson, you will be in a meeting and you need to learn how to communicate on Zoom, how to speak, how to mute your microphone, how to excuse yourself when you want to leave. So let's keep talking. Even those that are writing, it is a very good skill to learn how to write. So let's keep doing the skills. Angel, do you want to say something? I can see you've unmuted. Mia has told us that a radio is used for entertainment. It is cheap and common. A television is a bit bulky. That's from Lydia. A speaker is cheap. Some are a bit expensive. That is Sengendo. Some speakers are a bit expensive. For example, JBL is a bit more expensive when you compare it to other devices. Okay, let's have one last person talking about any device, describing it using an adjective, and then we move to the next slide. Any volunteer? Yes, Lydia, is your microphone okay? Would you like to share something? Hezron is saying a phone is handheld. It is convenient. You can walk with it, you can put it in your pocket, in your small bag. And Elaine says the radio is cheap, it's portable. Yes, I like that. All right, now let's go to the next slide. Amara. The next slide. Very good. Thank you very much. So we are going to do comparisons. We are going to compare at least two communication devices. But I want somebody to first tell me, what do we normally use to compare two different things in English? Okay. Sorry about that. I had to first mute Angel. There was a lot of noise coming from that side. So people, we're going to learn how to compare, and the first question we're going to answer on this activity. In the English language, what do we normally use to compare two different things? If there are two things you want to compare, which word class do you use? Is anyone aware? Yes, Barbara? Mia. Mia's hand is up.
I think when you're trying to compare two different images and
Mia, you're breaking. Kindly say that again.
I think you first see their uses and also how they are not useful.
Which word class will you use to show the difference? I see on the chat. Let me see. Was it someone using ITEL? Now I can't know the name. Even Josiah. They have talked about.
This is Jemima. I think when we are comparing.
Yes. Jemima?
Yeah. I think you use than when you're comparing the second comparison.
Okay, that's good. So that is correct. We use those phrases that have than, but what is one phrase that describes them? Carlos has the answer.
Hello?
Carlos, do you have your microphone working? Can you unmute and tell us the word phrase that we normally, the grammatical element that we use to compare two things? Carlos?
I think we use comparative words.
Yes, perfect. We use comparatives. We use the comparative words to compare two things. That is where we have some words that show the difference in the two devices. Are there any comparatives that we know even before we go to the table? For example, cheaper. Very good. That's Elvis. Feel free to unmute and give your answers. Elaine is saying taller, and that's good. So you can raise your hand and tell us some of the comparatives that you know. These are words that we use to compare two things. And today we shall be comparing communication devices. Yes, Carlos?
Fast.
More beautiful.
Thank you. That's correct. Whose hand is this? Isaac?
Faster.
Faster. Yes, very good. Any other person? Let me go to the chat. I'm very sure people are putting more answers. Yes, expensive. More expensive. That is Hezron. We have fatter from Elaine. More expensive. Julius. Smarter. Thinner. More delightful. More expensive. Smarter. And many other things like that. So people, we will have two devices. You can choose from the list that is on the table or from the previously mentioned devices from the previous slides. You just need to pick any two and you compare them. I'll give an example. You can tell us that a phone is cheaper than a laptop. A smartphone is cheaper than a laptop. Of course, depending on the brand, but generally speaking, a smartphone is supposed to be cheaper than a laptop. I still insist, depending on the brand. Someone might argue otherwise and say, oh, no, teacher, I have a feeling my smartphone is more expensive than some of the laptops I've seen. Still, we will have a sentence, we will have a comparison. So I want us to construct sentences like that. Choose any two devices you think you know, and then compare them. You can use the list we have on the table here displayed, or if you remember some of the devices that we identified in the previous slides, you can also talk about them. Yes, we're going to start with Carlos again. Thank you, Carlos.
As a tablet is bigger than a smartphone. It's bigger than a smartphone.
That's correct. That's correct. A tablet is indeed bigger than a smartphone. Correct. Let me see whose hand is up. Yes, Sengendo.
A laptop does not need more connections like a computer.
Come again.
A laptop does not need more connections like a computer. When you connect a monitor,
okay,
a system unit. Yes.
So should we conclude that that a laptop is more convenient to use than a computer?
Yes.
Yes, more convenient. A laptop is more convenient because it doesn't need a monitor. It doesn't need many things. You can, when you charge it properly and it has a good battery, you can even sit under a tree and you do your work, making it more convenient or more flexible. Thank you very much. Let me see whose hand this is. Yes, Mia.
A smartphone is more portable than a computer.
Correct. That is correct. Thank you so much, Mia. Any other person that would like to compare for us at least two devices and we see how it turns out? Sengendo, I believe you already given us your answer. So let me first look at the chat and I see some of those sentences constructed there. Very good. A laptop is faster than a smartphone. Yes, sometimes. A computer has more storage capacity than a smartphone. Wonderful. That's Nina. Elaine agrees. A smartphone is cheaper than a laptop. A laptop is more expensive than a smartphone. Computer has more information than a smartphone. A computer is more expensive. A computer is more bulky than a phone. Okay. A laptop has more storage capacity than a smartphone. That's true. That's true. I'm very glad that we are using these comparatives very well. We know which words, the longer words that have longer syllables, normally we don't want to lengthen them further. So we use the word more. We cannot say expensive. We would rather have more expensive. The word is already too long and it has more than two syllables. That's why you see some words have like cheaper, then more convenient. I hope that makes it very clear in case someone had inquiries about which words have more and which words are made longer, like cheaper, smarter, faster. The words that are short, we can compare with them by adding ER. And then the longer words, like multi-purpose, we cannot now begin to add it another syllable. So we say more multi-purpose. We can say a laptop is more multi-purpose than a phone. Very good. Do we have one last person that wants to compare two devices, and then we move to our assignment of the day, which will be verbally done? One last person to compare two devices. There are some people that have not said a thing. I see I have Nelson. I have Kulthum. Yeah, Kelsey. Say something. Say something. I have Annabelle. Amara, you have not compared any two devices, so I've chosen you to compare. Compare any two, then we move to the assignment, which is the last bit of this lesson, by the way. Amara? Pearl has also talked about a tablet that has more storage capacity than a smartphone. Amara, I want you to compare any two devices and we move to our assignment. Amara, are you there?
Sisters, yes, teacher. Sorry about that. My network had gotten some issues. Teacher, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Teacher,
It is
sorry.
well, don't worry.
Yes.
Just compare for us any two devices that you know, any two communication methods. It can even be a method or a device, like DHL compared to post office, or a phone compared. You can choose any two that you know, compare them.
The two devices I can give you maybe, like, check for instance, I can say maybe a phone and a laptop. Because now with a phone is mainly used now if you're doing calls, or if it's mainly used now in those sections of calling someone to hear them or to give direct information to them than rather sending a message. Then with a laptop, it would be good now when you're sending this email, the electronic mail towards the other person, because due to the fact of the typing, which improves on speed. That's what I would say.
Okay. Thank you so much, Amara. So that makes a laptop more multi-purpose than a phone. Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
That's why we remember, it takes us back to the lesson objectives. Today we are learning good adjectives that we can use to describe communication devices. I want to think about a situation where you will be giving a speech about the use of technology, where you will be in a debate, where you'll be writing an essay. So instead of rotating around the subject and saying, you see, it does this and this, now someone will communicate better when they say a laptop is more multi-purpose than a smartphone. Then they go ahead to explain why. Because much as you can use the phone conveniently, it may take you a longer time to type an email and to send it and to attach a document. So that makes the laptop much better, because for it can be used to communicate, but at the same time be used to send emails. So that is why we are learning all these words like fast, reliable, convenient, multi-purpose, cheap, expensive, bulky, more storage, for us to have better communication. In case we are delivering a speech or writing or even listening to some people, we should be able to know what they mean when they talk about flexible, user-friendly, things like that. So this takes us to our last bit of this lesson. If you remember our lesson objectives, we agreed that by the end of this meeting, all students that have logged in should be able to mention any two communication devices they know. You shouldn't be blank when someone is talking about communication devices. Don't think it is rocket science. We should be able to know these things and use them well. Then we should be able to identify and describe an adjective. We should be able to describe any communication devices that we know. Then we shall do the passage fill and call it a day. So I'll start with Isaac. Isaac? Isaac?
Yes.
Mention any two communication devices you know. We are trying to see if you remember what we've studied today.
There is a telephone and a television.
Correct. Thank you. That's correct. Wonderful. Sengendo, tell us your two communication devices. Oh, that are unmuted. Okay.
A smartphone and then a laptop.
Correct. Thank you very much. Yes, Mia? Mia?
Bluetooth and a tablet.
Okay, very good. Someone is using an X7. Kindly tell us your name and then the two devices. Oh. Okay, not talking. But in the meantime, let me be seeing what we have in the chat. Faith says telegraph and a computer. Asha says Bluetooth device and a laptop. Carlos says radio and telegraph. Elaine says tablet and computer. Lydia says tablet and television. Stacy says radio and telephone. Gismel says computer and phone. Then Pinkley says
smartphone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, dear. What's your name? Oh, this person takes long to unmute. But it is well. Rest says tablet and radio. Just to check if we remember what we studied today. What is an adjective? Hezron, Israel. What is an adjective?
An adjective is a word naming an attribute of a noun.
Oh, wonderful. Would you like to give us some random examples of adjectives, like 4 or 5 of them?
Big.
More
portable.
Correct.
Expensive. Cheaper.
Yes.
Small.
And small. Very good. So, Hezron has described or identified for us an adjective very well. And like we said during the lesson, an adjective is a word that can name a noun by giving us more detail about its attributes. And the examples were right there for us. Isaac, I'm going to ask you, to describe any communication device you know.
A computer needs takes a lot of data when operating on the internet.
Does that make it more expensive to operate? Yes. Hey, Isaac's not talking. Yes, but thank you very much. Now I'll get one last person to describe any communication device they know, and then we'll move to part 2 of the assignment, which is the very, very last part of this assignment. Amara, should I get back to you? Amara, you're going to describe for me any communication device. Make sure you use an adjective.
Okay. Teacher, the device I'm gonna choose is a mobile phone.
Okay.
Due to the fact that, first of all, it's portable. It's easy to move around with. Then second, how would I say? I would say it eases message sending. Like if you want to now take, for instance, if you want to send a message now these days, you can't send it by letter. You can send someone a WhatsApp and it reaches them quickly.
Okay. So does that make it convenient?
Teacher, yes, I would say it's a very convenient device.
Okay. Do you have any other adjective you want to use to describe it?
I would like to say, but with this disadvantage, it is expensive.
Yes, you're right. Sometimes we use adjectives to even mention disadvantages. Yes, it is a bit expensive. Okay, so Amara, thank you very much. Now take us to page 5, which has a passage which we are going to fill in, as we shall see when we get there. So let's go to the other document.
Okay, teacher. Hold on.
And then go to page 5.
Okay.
That is page 3. Scroll down.
Page 3.
That is 4. That's 5. That's the passage.
5
go
is
back
down
up.
here.
No, up. This very passage.
This one
This
here?
one. Yes,
Okay.
this one. Make sure we have all of it and it's instruct. Yes, like that.
Okay.
So we have 8 words in the table. Let me see if there is someone. Carlos, are you still online? Carlos.
Yes, madam.
Very
Yes.
good. Can you read for us the words that we shall use to complete this short passage? There are 8 words in the table.
First, multipurpose, reliable,
yes,
user-friendly, convenient, flexible, accessible, and durable.
Okay, thank you very much. So Carlos, you're going to now read for us this first part that doesn't need any answer until when you get to this word. Which one? What other task can you perform with it? And then we shall start answering the other questions.
Okay. One of them.
Let me first mute the person who is making this for us. Who is that? Okay, continue with the reading.
One of the most commonly used communication devices is the telephone. It enables one to communicate from a distance. A mobile phone, one of the most recent inventions, has turned out to be more convenient than a landline. This is because it is small enough to fit in a pocket or handbag and allows one to use it from virtually anywhere. Apart from making calls, using a mobile phone, what other tasks can you perform with it?
Thank you very much, Carlos. You're such a good reader. Now let's get any other volunteer who wants to read for us the sentence that has our first question. And you choose from the table above to fill it in sensibly. Make sure you pick the most correct adjective that makes sense there. Any person willing to read for us that sentence that has question 1? You raise your hand. We do this in the remaining maybe 8 minutes so that we close this meeting. Yes, Mia.
Talking very soft.
Yes, Mia. Mia, are you there? I think Mia has gone off the call. We have someone who is using Infinix Hot something and is also off the line. Yes, no, that one is here. Infinix Hot 10. Kindly unmute, tell us your name and give us the answer. Someone is writing for us that it's user-friendly. Oh, sorry, Mia. If you get it fixed, you let us know. If you get it fixed, you just let us know and then we'll give you another question. So the question we're answering starts from up there, what Carlos has just read for us. A mobile phone is more convenient. It can be put in the pocket. It can fit anywhere. It can be used by many people from many places, and that makes it Twinkly has passed that. That makes it user friendly. Let's see. Amara, you're going to get us number 2.
Okay, teacher. So it continues and says anybody can easily use a mobile phone, and that makes it. I'm going to say convenient.
That's correct. Anybody can use a phone, so it makes it convenient. Let's see. How about number 3? Number 3. Mobile phones are dash because they can be found in many shops in both towns and villages. What's that adjective that explains something that is everywhere, that is easy to get? Even if you're in the village for Christmas, you can get a phone. Even if you're in town, you can get a phone. So a mobile phone.
Can I give the answers on that one? Or teacher, it's accessible.
Yes. Please do.
Teacher, the mobile phones are
correct.
dash
Correct.
because,
That's correct.
yeah, they're accessible. Okay, teacher.
Because they are accessible. A mobile phone is accessible. It can be found anywhere in town, even in villages. So that's the adjective that you can use to describe that nature. That takes us to number 4. Who is willing to answer number 4? I see Isaac and Mia's hands are up. I don't know if Mia's microphone is now okay. She can take on number 4.
Okay,
Mia, are
teacher.
you there? Yes,
Yes.
dear.
Some of them are dash and can last many years. Some of them are durable and can last many years.
Perfect. That's correct. Something that lasts very many years when it's being used is durable. That's the adjective we use to describe it. Thank you. Number 5. Who wants to take on number 5? Isaac? Isaac wants to do number 5.
Although some people have misused social media by spreading fake news, mobile phones can be a reliable source of information.
Correct. Thank you very much. Much as some people have misused this communication technology by doing ugly things, yes, it can
They
truly
can be
be a reliable
acceptable.
source of information. And when we talk about reliable, something that you can base on, something that you can trust to give you information, yes, most times a mobile phone, especially when you use Google, most times, if not all, you get the correct information. If you want to know what has happened, you just open your mobile phone and you will discover. Today in the morning when I opened my phone, there are things I didn't know. And then I read that there is a pastor that was almost shot dead last night. So, yes, you can get information on the mobile phone and it can be a reliable source of information, much as some people will add in false information, fake news. Yes, we can all agree that it is a reliable source of information. And finally, for today, by and large, mobile phones still stand out as very efficient and dash as one receives instant information. They stand out as very efficient and dash as one receives instant communication. Which word do you think will fit there correctly? Now I don't know. I have 2 people using Samsung, and I want to listen to the other person who is not saying Yendo. Kindly unmute, tell us your name, and give us the last answer of the lesson. Someone is using Samsung SM8217F. Your hand is up. Yes, tell us
The
your name.
answer is fast.
Yes. Did you say your Desta?
The answer is fast.
Yes, that's correct. And what is your name?
My name is Sengendo Josiah.
Josiah. Okay. So that's correct. Thank you very much. By and large, mobile phones still stand out as very efficient and fast, since the person using it receives instant information. You get the information there and then. So thank you very much, friends, for attending this lesson. We have used it to introduce this topic, which is the very first topic in Senior 2 English, modern communication technology. We have learned the different devices by name and what they do. We have learned about the different means of communication and their advantages and disadvantages. We have used comparatives to compare the different devices to know which one is better than the other or worse. We have used very many comparatives to do that. And finally, we have done a passage. We have filled it in to understand what some of these to understand what some of these devices do. Yes. Thank you very much for being patient and attending the lesson to the very end. We shall have another lesson still about modern communication technology, but a different topic, not adjectives, next week, same time. Please keep time. I know it will be better because by that time I'll be having both my gadgets and I'll be doing it much better and faster and more conveniently. But also doesn't hurt for someone to help and learn how these things work. I thank you very much. May God bless you. Feel free